This eye just looks more hooded, it looks smaller, it looks sad. I don't think there's any facial feature that can lift the face up or pull it down as much as the eyes. But I also don't think there's any facial feature that's harder to master when it comes to makeup than doing the eyes. So today's video is all about eyes and the mistakes that you are potentially making that are aging you and making your eyes look smaller. I'm going to make up one eye and I'm going to show you some hints and tips and tricks that you can do to help keep your eyes looking open, fresh and bright. And then on this side, I'm going to be showing you some of the potential mistakes that you could be making. You won't be making all of them, but there'll be some of these things that you're doing and it's making your eyes look older and smaller and more tired. This isn't about just hooded eyes or droopy eyes or heavy eyes. This is about all eye shapes. There is something that you can take away. First thing is skin preparation. We know is absolutely key. All I have on my face at the moment is a very light foundation, so I've already done my skin prep, but the eyes is a separate thing. So I am going to apply eye cream. The one I've got here, this is called PDRN Pink Peptide Eye Cream. It's by a company called Toso Wong. It's a Korean skincare brand that I'm trialing at the moment. I really like it, and what I also like is a great price range. So we're only going to apply the eye cream onto the good eye. The reason we apply eye cream to the eyelid and the brow bone is because the skin around the eyes is the thinnest skin on the body, and that means two things. One, we're going to lose moisture quicker than anywhere else. Once it becomes dehydrated, that's what's causing the crepiness, fine lines and the wrinkles. And secondly, we have less of a fat deposit. There's less collagen there and elastin, and that means we lose structure. And once you start losing structure, that's what's causing the heaviness, the hooded and the drooping and the sagging of the skin. No cream is going to lift or firm your facial structure, but what we can do is help with this dehydration, and the eye cream makes such a big difference. So that skin there on the eye feels smooth, it's moisturized, whereas that just feels drier. Of course it does, nothing on it. We now need to leave this cream to absorb into the skin. If we try and apply products too quickly while the cream is still there and it's a bit slippy, your product's just going to slip off and they're not going to last. So we'll allow that to absorb. But that's a perfect time to move on to eyebrows. Eyebrows frame the face and they make such a big difference. Get your eyebrows right and you can almost just put some mascara on and go, it makes a difference. Get the eyebrows wrong and it doesn't matter how amazing your eyeshadow is, it's sort of unfinished, it's just not done. And eyebrows also lift the face or pull it down, so we need to get them right. Fashions in eyebrows change as much as fashions in clothing change. So the very thin brows have gone, the very thick, heavily painted brows have gone. 2026, what we're looking at now is very natural brows. We almost want to see the hair strokes. I'm going to use the pencil today because I just want a nice light feathery brow. I just want to take some very delicate strokes. Now this is another reason why it's good to do your brows before you do your eyeshadow, is because you can almost make mistakes and then you tidy it up before you put your eye makeup on. The strokes I'm going to take now are a little bit too big, but what that means is I can tidy them up. We're looking for that hair-like stroke. We want the arch goes over where the pupil ends, and then when you're going down the outer edge, don't forget wherever your natural brow ends, just take it a little bit higher. The spoolie is great just to tidy up what hairs you have. And now this is the advantage of doing your brows before you do your eye makeup. Taking a Q-tip, a little bit of, I've just got micellar water here, makeup remover, whatever you feel, and we can literally just tidy up any hair strokes that we feel have got a little bit astray. Now there we should have a nice natural brow. It's not too heavy, it's not too painted on. It looks like hair strokes, but more than anything else, it's lifted on this outer edge. But you'll see it's almost like lifting the eye, and lifting the eye lifts the face. So let's do the side that doesn't always go to plan. I'll use the same pencil because I think it's only fair to say what people do wrong. And this is the old arch brow that comes down too low on the outer edge. So where people get it wrong is that solid line. Eyebrows aren't solid. The hairs, they need what we call white space. I think we can already see there, that eye looks more lifted there. That eye's been pulled down. The next thing we need to do now, this is priming the eyes. The primer has two jobs really. One, it creates a nice base that the eyeshadow or any products you're putting on are going to adhere to it. It means it lasts longer. I'm not going to say lasts all day, but it will last longer if you use a primer. It stops it creasing as well. And the other job of a primer is to create a sort of a neutral coverage, which covers any blemishes, any discoloration on the eyes. Now, you'll see with my eyes, they are slightly pink. So we need to neutralise that. We need to get a nice even skin tone. So the one I'm using here, this is a paint pot. This is by MAC Cosmetics, and it's a great little product. So it's very neutral. You can see there, very sort of neutral colour, very skin toned colour. You can apply this with a brush. You can apply this with one of those tiny beauty blenders, but you can apply it with your fingers. So taking some of this with my ring finger and dabbing that over the lid and the brow bone. Another thing that's good with this, because it's almost like a foundation for the eyes, you can take it just around that outer edge. It's not a concealer, but it will just help open the eyes. This inner corner too, because it's going to brighten and lift. One little thing I'm going to do before I move on to the actual eyeshadow itself, and I want to set the primer. You know I've got my By Terry, my favourite little powder. It's really light. What it does is it absorbs the moisture, that's the oils you don't want, while not absorbing the hydration, which is what the skin needs, so you don't get those caking. It doesn't settle in fine lines. I've got a brush here that I use for my powder. It's an angled, very soft brush. Dab that in very lightly, and we're going to just press over the primer, the brows, very gently. We're not sweeping over, you're just pressing that in. It's so light that you won't feel it, but it does make a difference. If you feel you need more hydration and your eyes are very, very dry, what you can do is set this with a fixing spray. My Pixie, okay, makeup fixing spray. I'm using the same brush, very, very fine spray. And then I'm going to dab with the fixing spray. Using makeup fixing spray on top of your makeup brushes is a really brilliant little habit or trick to get into, and I'll show you how to do a fantastic eyeliner later using the fixing spray. This video is actually a remake of a video I did over 12 months ago now called I Make Up Mistakes That Age You. I'll pop the link there if you wanted to see the original. And the reason why I've decided to redo it is because eyeshadow fashions have changed. Gone are the days of trying to apply different colours to the eyes and creating this elaborate work of art. We're now going very simple, very easy. It's almost either a 1 or 2 colour shadow on the eyes. The palette I'm using today, this one's actually by Charlotte Tilbury, and it's called the Super Nudes. This is a really lovely palette of soft nudes. What we're looking for is a shade that's about 2 shades darker than your natural skin tone. So if we look at these shades here, from my natural skin tone to say my hair, whereas I would have previously gone very much for the darker brown colours, we're now moving to much lighter neutral colours. I'm starting off with this end colour here. You'll also know, if you've seen my videos before, my trusty toilet roll. Take off 1 sheet, fold it in half. This is your guide. This is your masking tape if you're decorating a room. What this does is prevents the eyeshadows falling onto your cheek and going too low around the edges of the eyes. So if we place the tissue from the corner of the eye up to the corner of the brow, what we're ensuring here is no shadow is going to come below the brow bone. This first very natural soft colour with just a very soft brush. Now this is going to go over virtually the whole of the eye except just under the brow bone there and this inner corner part of your eye there. So we're sweeping up. Can you see that sort of shape there? Okay, you're sweeping up. Now when you take your tissue away, you might have a line like you would removing masking tape when you're doing your decorating. So you can just soften that with your finger very, very gently. But we're not taking the shadow down, we're just softening it. So the mistakes that we often see on this eye. First thing, of course, with no eye cream, therefore the skin's going to be more dehydrated and it's going to snag a little bit more. The eyeshadow's going to snag on it a little bit more. Secondly, with no primer, so the pink's going to come through. And also it's not going to go on as smoothly. Okay, we're going to apply the eyeshadow and it isn't going to glide on and give that really blended, smooth look. So the mistake we see is using this socket line and creating darker shadow in the socket line. Let me show you. I'm going to use here the darker colour, the brown. And we're taking the eyeshadow in this socket line. So the brush just seems to fall into that line. Taking this outer edge. But what you will see as well, the socket line comes down at this outer edge. If I follow it down, can you see the socket line comes to there? And it's taking the shadow to that outer edge there. If I take a line from the corner of my eye to my eyebrow, where that line would be, we've got shadow falling below it. If I take the line here, we've no shadow falling below it. So by taking this shadow and coming down on this outer edge, it's actually almost tilting the eye down. The optical illusion is it's pulling the eye down there, where the optical illusion we need on this eye is to be lifting the eye up. It's almost doing that, isn't it? If you've seen my previous makeup videos, you will say that I don't like glitter on mature eyes, and I stand by that. But it's not the glitter on mature eyes, it's when particles of glitter fall and hit any fine lines or wrinkles. All you're doing is just highlighting them. It's almost shining a spotlight on those fine lines and wrinkles. It makes them look deeper and it makes them look worse. In the same principle as light hitting the glitter and shining a spotlight on it, you use that to your advantage, because if you use iridescent or shimmery shadow in the right place, when the light hits it, it really opens and brightens the eye. The one I've got here that I'm using today, this is by Kosas Cosmetics, you see that there, and it is called Haloed. Get that there, and it's an iridescent shadow. We want to open up this inner part of the eye, taking a small amount on a brush, and I'm using a smaller, firmer brush here because what we're not doing is sweeping it on where it has the ability to scatter. We're almost pressing it and placing it onto the eye. So taking this along the inner edge here. So we're almost taking a vertical line up on the middle of the lid and then just going very slight to the corner. We don't want too much in the corner of the eye there. That, of course, there now is looking a little bit open. Let's see the mistake when we're using shimmery shadows on the wrong eye. Rather than using up that inner corner of the eye, they highlight the brow bone. Remember the principle, anything light looks bigger and stands forward. That also includes shimmer, anything darker recedes. So if we've got this hooded area here and we want to hide it, why are we applying highlighter on it? But yet I still see people applying highlighter over that area of the eye. That just makes the hooded area look even more hooded. As we're only using one main colour on the eye, we need to create a bit of contrast, and that's where eyeliner comes in, because eyeliner, believe it or not, can really open the eye or it can really close the eye. Now, tight lining is very much personal choice for two reasons, I would say. One, on whether you think it's a good thing to do or not, and secondly, whether you're able to do it. I personally like it. I've been tight lining for many, many years and never had any eye infections, but I do keep my pencils clean. What I would say, if you are going to tight line, when you're using your eyeliner, don't freshly sharpen it without wiping over with a tissue just to soften the ends. What you don't want is a really sharp eyeliner going in the eye, particularly for tight lining. But let me just show you the difference when you do tight line. But if you're not into tight lining, I'm going to show you another option. So I'm just going to lift up and take a brown over that line. And I think already you can see the lashes immediately look longer. Now, if you're not into tight lining, absolutely fine. You can do this next step either instead of, or you can do it as well as your tight lining. We're going to take one of your small chisel brushes. This is one that's got a firmer tip to the end. And again, the magic of our setting spray. So we don't want it too wet, very fine spray over the brush. And now I'm going to take this colour. I'm not going to line with the dark brown. I'm going to line with the one less. My trusty little tissue. I want to dab over the lashes on the top of the eye. We're almost placing it. We're not creating a full line. I would say in the whole of the makeup, that's probably, the line is the trickiest bit. But like anything, it just takes a bit of practice. Just have a go. Let me know in the comments what I really want to find out from you are things that I do that you go, Sue, I like that, it's easy, I'm doing it and it's working, or things you go, I've tried it and I can't grasp it, it's not working, and then I can show you an alternative way. I'm taking that same colour and this time we're going to go underneath the eye. Literally just feather stroke along the lash. We've got an element of contour of the edge of the eye. It actually, even though it's a line on the outside, it opens up the eye. It makes the eye look bigger. But you can still see we've got that lift. I'm now taking a small eyeliner brush on that same colour. So I'm going back to this same colour that I've just used. Fresh bit of tissue. And this time, very gently smudging it in. Now the reason I go over with the chisel brush first, and the reason I use the fixing spray is it almost like paints it onto the skin, it lasts a lot longer. This now is just giving that softness, that gentleness. So let's have a look at the wrong side and some of the potential mistakes. This time I've got, of course it's got to be black eyeliner. That's a huge mistake. Don't get me wrong, I love black eyeliner and I do still wear black eyeliner, but black eyeliner used the wrong way is horrendous. Black eyeliner used the right way can be brilliant. So this is the wrong way, of course. So I'm taking the eyeliner over my top lid, taking it all the way. This eye just looks more hooded, it looks smaller, it looks sad. Just looks sad. Before I move on to mascara, just one extra, I would say, optional little trick for you. This is my concealer. It's very light concealer, in other words, it doesn't cake in the fine lines. Just taking a brush, taking a little bit off the end, I'm going to apply the concealer in a line on the edge of the eye there. And you can use a brush or your fingers. But this sort of diagonal line going up from the corner of the eye, so there we're creating this lovely lift where this side we're bringing the eye down. Now let's move on to mascara. For the good eye, this is my Maybelline Sky High. And I think this colour is like a mulberry, like a purpley mulberry colour. Now what you'll see what I'm doing here, I'm not applying it as a horizontal brush over the lashes. I'm using the tip of the mascara wand to grab the lashes and pull them up. And then I'm not going to put the mascara wand back into the mascara, because we don't want too much on these lower lashes. We still need to keep the eyes looking open. Mascara in the other eye, I'm going to use black. It's irrelevant which mascara it is. This one's by Prime. It's a black mascara. Again, I use black mascara, but it's the right time and place for it. And daytime is definitely not a place for black mascara. Mascara doesn't go up, it goes out. It wings out. Okay, you're trying to pull the lashes along the outer edge. So with this, I'm trying to take that straight up. Now, one final little step now that I'm actually looking at it in the mirror, and this time very, very carefully, I'm going to, this is an option I would say, I am going to use this brown, all right? This is on the good eye. Get my soft brush, tiny, literally just dab it in, that's all I'm doing. Close my eye, and not low down, but high up in the socket line there, and I'm just working it out. And that gives you that lovely lift. Do let me know in the comments what I've done that you go, that is the thing I'm going to change. What is it I've done that you go, I didn't know that, I'm going to try that. It's also really important that you tell me how you get on. I want to find out what things you find easy and you go, tell me more of that, Sue, or what things you go, I just can't get my head around that, Sue. I've tried to practice, it's not working, and therefore I will give you some options. Don't forget, of course, my free guide, the 12 Makeup Mistakes That Age You. It's a free guide. It's just very simple. It's a very easy sort of step-by-step. Mistake number 1, don't do this, do that instead. Mistake number 2, don't do this, do that instead. So it's very simple, it's very visual. I've got images of everything as well on there. Do download, the link will be in the comments and I'll also pop it in the description box. It's a really great thing to have. If you found this video useful and you want to learn more hints and tips and tricks to do your makeup, I suggest you watch these 2 videos next, because they will just give you so much more information. Thank you for your support. Just take care. Bye for now. That side's definitely coming off.